Hey, welcome to the Explainer. So today we're going to tackle a big one, ISO 27001. It's the global benchmark for information security, and we're going to break down exactly what it is, how it works, and, why it's become so absolutely critical for pretty much any modern business. With data breaches and sophisticated cyber threats popping up constantly, every single organization is playing a really high-stakes game. So the real question is, are you just leaving your security to chance? Because, let's be real, your most valuable asset these days, it's not in a vault, it's your data. We're talking financial records, customer details, all that secret sauce that makes your business tick. And if you don't have a solid fortress around it, it's just out there, totally exposed. I mean, just think about the huge Target data breach back in 2013. You know how that started? Hackers got in by stealing credentials from, get this, a third-party HVAC vendor. That one little crack in the wall ended up costing them millions. All right, so how do you actually build that fortress? And more importantly, how do you prove to everyone, your customers, your partners, that you're actually serious about protecting all that data? Well, that's where we get into the internationally recognized gold standard for doing just that, ISO 27001. Okay, first things first. This is not some rigid, one-size-fits-all rulebook you have to follow blindly. A much better way to think about ISO 27001 is as a strategic framework. It's basically a blueprint for building something called an Information Security Management System, or an ISMS for short. And a good way to think about an ISMS is kind of like how a company has a system for managing its finances. It's the whole collection of policies, procedures, and controls you put in place to manage a really, really critical asset. And really, that is the key. Getting this certification, it sends this powerful, crystal clear message. It basically shouts to your customers and your partners, hey, we've done the work, we take this seriously. Your sensitive information is safe with us. Okay, so we've got the what, now for the how. How does this big idea, this framework, actually turn into a real, practical security program? Let's dig into how it goes from being a concept to a concrete working system. So at its very heart, ISO 27001 is all about building that ISMS we were just talking about. This system becomes your company's living, breathing plan for managing information security, not just in the IT department, but across the entire organization. And this right here, this is the perfect way to think about it. It really is the central nervous system for your whole security setup. The beauty of it is that it's designed to weave security right into your company's core business processes. It makes sure that every single department, from HR and marketing all the way to operations, is singing from the same hymn sheet when it comes to protecting your data. What's great is that this whole process is super logical, and it's all based on risk. You don't just start throwing security measures at the wall to see what sticks. Nope. The very first and maybe most critical step is doing a thorough risk assessment. So, for example, a retail company might say, okay, a big threat for us is credit card data theft. Then they look closer and find a vulnerability, like, oh, our point-of-sale software is way out of date. See? You have to figure out where you're weak before you can even think about getting strong. So, once you've identified your specific risks, then you get to choose your defenses. And this is where something called Annex A comes into play. Now, this is not a mandatory to-do list you have to complete from top to bottom. Think of it more like a toolbox or an a la carte menu. It's this huge catalog of different security controls, and you pick and choose the specific tools that make sense for handling the risks you just identified. And what's so smart about this is how it breaks security down into a truly complete picture. It's not just about tech. You've got organizational controls, that's your foundation. Stuff like writing policies and defining who's responsible for what. Then you have people controls, which is all about the human side of things. Security awareness training, background checks, Then physical controls, which is about securing your actual physical stuff, locking server rooms, having clean desk policies, and then, finally, you get to the technological controls. That's the stuff most people think of first. Encryption, firewalls, managing who has access to what. Okay, so the framework itself is pretty logical, right? But that doesn't mean the journey is always a walk in the park. Actually putting it into practice can have its challenges. So let's talk about some of the common roadblocks that companies run into, and more importantly, how to get around them. All right, this one is huge. Probably one of the biggest hurdles is getting real, genuine buy-in from the very top. If your leadership team just sees security as another line item on the IT budget, you are never, ever going to get the resources you need.
The trick is to reframe it. You have to show them that information security isn't a cost. It's a strategic investment that protects revenue, builds that all-important customer trust, and actually helps the business grow.
Here's another massive one: forgetting that security is a team sport. I mean, you can have the most advanced, expensive technology in the world, but your defenses are only ever as strong as your least aware employee. There was this crazy case in 2016 where a single person at a government contractor got their email compromised. Just one email account. And it led to a data leak of almost 30,000 FBI and Homeland Security employees. That's why consistent, engaging training, it's not just a nice to have, it's absolutely non-negotiable. And this quote, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? The ultimate goal, the real win, is building a culture where security isn't some extra chore people have to do. It's just baked into how everyone works every single day. You know, just like locking the office door when you leave at night. It's just what you do. And here are a few other common pitfalls to keep on your radar. First, be realistic about your resources, your time, your budget, your people. Next, be super precise when you define the scope of your ISMS. Don't try to boil the entire ocean at once. Also, it's easy to get lost in the documentation, so stay focused. And this last one is so important. Never, ever think the work is done just because you got the certificate. Okay, so you navigate all those challenges, you put in the hard work. What's the reward? What's the real payoff at the end of all this? Well, the benefits are very real, and they go way beyond just ticking a box for compliance. The data here is super clear. A whopping 80% of certified businesses say they inspire more trust. 75% report they've reduced their overall business risk, and more than half say it gives them a stronger competitive edge. See? It stops being a cost and really starts to become a business enabler. So here's the bottom line. Getting that ISO 27001 certification isn't just about getting a piece of paper to hang on the wall. It's a shield. It's a visible symbol of your resilience and your deep commitment to protecting what matters most. It's how you build a solid foundation of trust with every single client, partner, and employee you have. And like we said a minute ago, that commitment absolutely does not end when you get certified. The standard is literally built on a cycle of continuous improvement. That means you've got ongoing monitoring, you're doing regular audits, and you're constantly making updates to make sure your security keeps up with the constantly changing world of threats. It's all about staying ready. So, in the end, you can think of ISO 27001 as the map and the compass for that security journey. But the road itself, well, that never really ends. Protecting your information is a continuous process of being vigilant and always getting better. So the real question to leave you with is your business ready for the road ahead?